Hey everybody, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
And you're watching Tesla Time News.
Episode 227.
On Now You Know. We're brought to you by our amazing Patreon patrons.
Help support creating independent news every week by heading over to patreon.com/nowyouknow, and there you'll find some pretty awesome perks.
We're sponsored by BigBattery.com with the best battery prices in the USA guaranteed. If you've got something you need to power, from homes to cars, RVs to boats, and much more, BigBattery.com has you covered, offering the newest battery tech. Use the code NowYouKnow to save you 5% off your purchase today at BigBattery.com. And this episode is sponsored by Morning Brew.
Morning Brew, we're doing coffee now?
No. So Morning Brew is a daily email newsletter that's delivered right to your email inbox every morning.
Newsletter? Oh, come on. Do you know how full my inbox is every day? How much I already have to deal with?
Hang on, take it easy. I hear you. I got way too much email to deal with too. But see, that's why I like Morning Brew.
Why? Because you're a masochist?
No, because Morning Brew gets me up to speed on what's going on in the world so that I'm ready for my day, all in just 5 minutes.
Let me see that. Oh, okay.
You see, you get all your business news, brews, bets, what else is brewing, finance, pharma, social media.
And I can quickly drill down deeper if I want to.
Right. It's easy to read and it's free.
It's free?
Yeah. Just go to the link in the description. It takes less than 15 seconds. That's it.
All right. I got to give this a try.
All right. We can start each morning in the office reading Morning Brew together. And we're sponsored by EcoWear.
There you'll find the designs of the shirts that we're wearing. You can also get, not just t-shirts. You can get beanies, hoodies, jackets, and hats. And the cool part is that everything is completely carbon offset from the manufacturing, the shipping, and the life cycle of your purchase. And we plant a tree for every order. And we help cap a well for every order. So your order off of ecoware.us is going to be extraordinarily carbon negative.
Oh, and plus, there's free shipping on everything. All right, so Tesla stock has hit an all-time high.
No, you must be reading last week's script by accident. I mean, this we already reported on last week.
No, I know, but Tesla stock keeps going up by a lot.
What's a lot?
Well, $160 in just the past week.
What?
Yeah, it hit $8.80 a share on Friday.
Wow.
That's a 22% increase in just a week. Tesla is now the 5th largest company by market cap, edging out Facebook.
Wow, this means that Tesla just made a whole lot of people a whole lot wealthier.
And you know who else got a whole lot wealthier? So with the stock price going up, Tesla is now worth $834 billion, and Elon is worth $190 billion, which means that Elon is now the richest human being on the planet, surpassing Jeff Bezos, who would, by the way, be the richest human if it weren't for his divorce settlement forcing him to hand over a quarter of his wealth to his ex-wife.
Wait, but I thought that Elon didn't get any salary. How does that work?
You're absolutely right. He does not actually get paid a monthly paycheck. He is under the Tesla 2018 CEO Performance Award Plan. And it works like this. Elon will get about 1.7 million shares, which is pre-split. So now that's 8.5 million shares post-split of Tesla after meeting each of these 12 tranches. There are 12 cumulative market cap milestones. By the way, Elon has met all of those because Tesla is now worth over $650 billion. So those 12 are taken care of. But Elon has to meet 12 out of these 16 operational milestones. And so far, to my understanding, Elon has met 3 of them. Revenue of more than $20 billion and adjusted EBITDA of more than $3 billion. So he has earned about 25.5 million shares of Tesla worth about $22 billion.
But I thought you said he's worth $190 billion.
So he also owns 20% of Tesla stock going into this. So if you take that stock plus the new stock, you add it together, you get about $190 billion.
Okay, but hang on. We said that he's the richest human on the planet. It's not like he has it all in a building somewhere, just a big stacks of cash and gold doubloons and crowns and stuff.
I don't know when the last century that was that people did it that way.
But I'm saying this is all on paper.
Yeah, same thing for Jeff Bezos. His wealth is all in Amazon stock.
Okay, so is this a good I mean, I guess it's a good thing on a certain level, but I think it's kind of a bad thing.
Well, and don't forget, he doesn't actually even have these new shares yet. They have to vest over 5 years. So the earliest he got was like last year. So it'll be like 4 more years before he can even do anything with them.
So that's kind of a weird way of thinking about the richest person on earth. Like, oh, he has all that money, but he can't touch it. It's like, what?
Well, you can borrow against it. I'm sure if Elon walks into most banks, they're not like, hey, you got no cash. Get out of here.
Right. That's not how banks work. I think it's a bad thing, though. I think that this paints a really big target on Elon's back, that people do not like people who are better off than them.
Sure.
That is just an across-the-board statement. I think that most people, if someone is doing a little bit better off, the Joneses or whatever, you're just like, I don't like him. And the same thing with Elon. And the weirdest part is, Elon is not living this luxurious lifestyle. No. I mean, he did at one point, he went and crashed a McLaren. That's something not too many people get to say, but he
sold all his houses.
He sold all of his houses. He's going to be living in Austin, which doesn't, that's not a, don't kill me. I'm just kidding. That's where he's living. I don't know. I think people aren't going to take too kindly to it.
I think the bigger question is, can anyone catch him?
Well, no, obviously. But soon he'll be on Mars, I suppose, so it won't matter. He won't be the richest man in the world anymore because he won't be in the world. He'll be on a different planet.
All right, so some big news here. Tesla released the standard range rear-wheel drive Model Y on Thursday.
But no.
Yes.
No,
yes.
That can't be.
Why not?
Because Elon said that it wasn't going to happen.
I know. I was kind of surprised too. It just came out of nowhere. But the starting price is now $41,990. Yeah, for almost a year since the Model Y came out, Tesla has been selling the performance version for $59,990 and the long-range version for $49,990. Now, I want to compare the long range versus this new standard range because I think for many people, the standard range will be a good fit.
So obviously the long range has the all-wheel drive, which means all four wheels are powered, and you have two motors, which is kind of nice. You also have a range of 326 miles, which I think really fits just about everybody. Now, the long range also has 135 mile an hour top speed, which I don't think matters very much. 0 to 60 of 4.8 seconds. Let's talk about the standard range's stats. It's rear wheel drive, so that means the two rear wheels are the powered wheels. The wheels in the front cannot pull the car. It has a range of 244 miles, the same top speed of 135 miles an hour, and a 0 to 60 of 5.3 seconds.
So I think the two big things weighing on people now when they try and decide this is, okay, I save $8,000, but I only get rear wheel drive and I lose 72 miles of range. And that's kind of the big question here. Is that worth it? I think the good news is it opens it up to a lot of people who just couldn't have afforded the other version.
I'll be honest, 240-ish miles of range is what I deal with every day. Now, of course, I live in a pretty well-populated place, and there's lots of chargers all around, so if I ever run into trouble, I just pull into one of those and I charge up for a little while. If you live, way out, again, in the middle of the boonies, having more range is nice, and so does all-wheel drive.
Yeah, I think that cold climates is going to play a role, and also maybe if you're a little bit more out there with less superchargers, maybe you'd want to go with the more expensive version.
But this is, in some ways, better than what we were expecting back at the unveiling of the Model Y. We were thinking that it would cost a little bit less, but it would have a worse range, and we knew that it would be rear-wheel drive.
Yeah, that slide that came up on stage when the Model Y was being introduced said 230 miles of range, so this is 14 miles more. And I want to point out that in Quebec, because they've lowered the price, in Quebec, Canada, you can get the $8,000 provincial incentive and you can get the $5,000 Canadian federal incentive. So you could get $13,000 off the price.
But it's Canadian dollars, which is less, for the Americans who are getting really jealous, don't worry. But that's not the only Model Y news that has just broken.
That's right.
Tesla is now offering the long-awaited third row seat option for $3,000.
Yeah. Now, these are not seats for adults. Let's just be honest here. Let's be clear. In my Model X, I can fit small adults in the third row, and that's for like short 20-minute trips. I really wouldn't want to subject them to longer than that. But these seats in the Model Y, let's be honest, they're for kids.
Well, we haven't seen any reviews of the Model Y with 3 rows of seats, obviously. If the third row is an interesting option for you, I think it's important to see what people think of it. Some of these pictures make it look like maybe they forgot that people have legs that need to go places.
Oh, leg! You're looking for a leg!
But we might be pleasantly surprised with the way that everything kind of folds together.
Yeah, I think this is honestly just if you have kids, and kids can fit into any situation.
That's true. And I think even with adults, if it's like, we got to go downtown, and yeah, I guess, Joe, you can come with us, but you're going to have to sit in the way back. That's just one of the things you have to do.
It's a good excuse to not bring people. It's like, oh, you could fit in the car, but it's not that comfortable, so maybe not today.
Well, then you just don't get the third row. I mean,
Or maybe you just lie and say, I don't have a third row. It's folded down.
right. I mean, the weird thing is that it seems like it'd be very good for car seats, but you don't really want to put car seats in the third row unless
Unless your kids are awful.
or
And
unless you have quintuplets.
And not to be outdone, the Made in China Model 3 is now getting the same new wood panel on the inside front doors that we saw last week on the Model Y.
Also, the Made in China Model 3 is getting a heated steering wheel. Now, these changes probably will be coming to the United States soon, and I want to know what everyone thinks. I mean, do you like this change? Do you think it looks bad? Put your comments down below.
Do you think also that Tesla will let owners buy the option for the heated steering wheel with their app?
Oh, so like maybe it's already in all of our steering wheels. Maybe that's why the steering wheel is so big.
Well, I mean, remember when we got the Model 3 and then Elon turned on the rear seat heating that we didn't even know was there?
That's a good point.
All right, some other big breaking news here. According to Reuters and Korea's IT News, Apple and Hyundai are in talks to produce an autonomous electric car.
According to the deal, we could see a prototype as early as March, and full production would begin in 2024.
Now, what's weird is that on Friday, before the deal was announced, Hyundai said that they would have an autonomous car by 2027.
So details are very, very spotty. And in a now removed IT News report, it had originally stated that the companies plan to build their cars at Kia Motors factory in Georgia or invest jointly in a new factory in the United States to produce 100,000 vehicles around 2024. The full annual capacity of the proposed plant would be 400,000 vehicles. So that was later removed from IT News is reporting, maybe because it was inaccurate. So right now we don't have many details on this partnership.
Yeah, it seems like all the news is coming out of Korea, and that's where kind of all these other news reports are coming from. So it's still not for sure any of this, but we knew this was coming, right? I mean, Apple has been trying to find a way into this EV car market for years. The only question in my mind was with which partner. Now, Lucid didn't look right to me because of Saudi Arabia backing them, and there's really no track record to Lucid. So then when you start looking around, Hyundai does make a lot of sense. I mean, they recently just bought Boston Dynamics, the robot company, and they have experience with EVs. They have the Kona, the Niro, the Soul EV, and it's a really solid choice. They make a lot of things. They know how to make stuff.
Now, here's the really interesting question. Hyundai has a market cap of around $50 billion. Apple is worth $2.2 trillion and, get this, has $193 billion on hand. So they could go out and buy about 4 Hyundais if they really, really wanted to. Do you think that Apple is going to buy out Hyundai?
I don't know. You're right that they could afford it. I mean, I know it's like a kid going into a candy store and like, what do I want? But I don't think they really want to own a company that makes like ships and trains. Like that just doesn't seem like something they're interested in. So I think just partnering is good enough. That does bring up, why didn't Apple buy Boston Dynamics?
Well, and I guess a lot of people are probably asking, like, why is Apple partnering with anyone at all? They have so much money. They have the brand. Why not just make your electric car company from scratch?
I think it's because manufacturing, you need an infrastructure, and either you have to start from scratch. But if you want to come up with the car that quickly, you're going to have some factories and stuff pretty much ready to go.
And you think 2024 is quickly?
Well, quickly for a company that hasn't built a car before.
I suppose so.
But here's my big conjecture. I think we might be talking more than just autonomous cars here. I think, as we talked about on our in-depth last week, autonomous humanoid robots is a big thing coming in this decade. And I think that the only thing stopping it have been the same thing stopping autonomous cars, because basically they're all just robots, which is batteries, computers, and vision. And I think that once you got those 3 things, you can make pretty much anything into a robot. And I think that humanoid robots are going to become huge.
Especially once Apple can resurrect Steve Jobs, put his brain in an autonomous robot. Then all of a sudden they get Steve Jobs back, and he's like, hey, we should make robots for everybody.
Yeah, he's walking around in black with mom jeans, and he's pitching it to everybody. I agree.
I mean, let's be real, though. I think most people would feel a little bit more comfortable with an Apple, robot walking around their house like, I'm Apple. Ha, ha, ha. Look at me.
Talk to Siri.
Yeah, that's what it's called. It's called Siri. So, sorry. Sorry, I didn't mean to activate it. I'm sorry. That's my bad.
And if you'd like to share this clip with a friend or family member, then head on over to the Now You Know Clips channel, where we cut these clips into bite-sized pieces so that you can share them more easily. All right, so NIO just had NIO Day.
Apparently, it's an annual gala.
I mean, there's mascots and fun stuff, and yeah.
It looked a little crowded. I mean, what's going on there?
Well, I mean, don't forget, China is pretty much done with COVID. It's got very low case numbers.
How?
Because they dealt with it properly from the beginning.
Well, they dealt with it pretty heavy-handedly, and that's how they were able to accomplish it. But let's talk about NIO. Let's talk about this car company.
Yeah, they unveiled a new car.
The ET7. Let's talk about its specs. It has a 150 kilowatt-hour battery.
That is the top battery coming out in a couple of years. But yes, that would have a range of 621 miles or 1,000 kilometers. NEDC, which stands for
not even darn close.
Right. So a real world range of maybe what?
I think well over 500 miles.
Which is still amazing.
Totally impressive. I mean, normally they're like, oh, we have 300 miles. And you're like, oh, that's great. NEDC. And you're like, okay. But I mean, yeah, we're talking over 500 miles of range. Okay, you have my attention.
Yeah, let's get some stats here. So a drag coefficient of 0.23, which I know for most of us that's just a number, but it's a really good number.
That's exactly equivalent to the Model 3.
Well, as you would expect from NIO, since they basically copy Tesla whenever possible. So,
but it's a different looking car.
It is.
And it's a different size as well. It has 480 kilowatts of dual motor at the top end, 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds, so completely respectable. Here's the interesting part. 11 cameras, 1 long-range LiDAR, 5 radar units, 12 ultrasonic sensors, 2 GPS sensors, and 4 NVIDIA Orin chips, and a partridge in a pear tree. There's a lot
of sensors.
A lot of hardware on this car. And apparently you can buy autonomy for $105 a month. Not the cheapest plan, but it is cheaper than a chauffeur.
Yeah. I think most people, that's the price point where most people aren't going to be able to resist it. But if your driving involves a lot of like highway stuff.
But it's not, we don't know if it's full self-driving, if it's level 5 autonomy or not. I think it's going to be.
No, I don't think we're there yet.
I mean, you can put as many cameras and as many sensors on the car as you want, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have full self-driving.
True. And I mean, NIO doesn't have enough cars on the road to have enough data to make that. So I think it's either down the road or I don't know. That's a lot of wattage being pulled by those 4 processors, though. That's one reason why Tesla had to develop their own, because you can pile a lot of computers into a car, but then you chew up a lot of batteries.
But they have a lot of batteries.
Well, at the high end. So let's look at the prices here. So the ET7 with the 70 kilowatt hour battery costs you $69,185, but you can choose to do battery as a service, and so you pay less for the car. You pay about $58,000 plus $151 a month.
Wow. So, I mean, that's one way that you can really bring down the cost of the car. And this is something that Tesla does not do. You cannot buy a Tesla and lease the battery.
Right.
Let's look at the medium option, the 100 kilowatt hour ET7. It costs $78,000. And if you do the battery as a service, it costs the same $58,000, except that you pay more per month, $229.
Right. And then lastly, there's the ET7 Premier Edition with the 100 kilowatt hour battery, and that costs $81,000. Or you can do battery as a service and get it for $61,000 plus $229 a month.
Wait. So where's the 150 kilowatt hour battery?
Right. So that battery's not coming out till Q4 of 2022. And NIO said there's a bunch of interesting things about this battery. They said it's a solid state battery. It's going to be a nano-coated nickel ultra-rich cathode. And the cells are supposedly coming from cattle and will have 360 watt hours per kilogram of energy density. Now, the new batteries are promised to offer good battery life and higher charging efficiency, but the details were not provided. And again, this is 2 years away. So I think what's going to happen is they're going to hopefully be able to cram 50% more battery into the same size battery pack, and you'll be able to boost the range of your car. This is a really interesting idea because most Tesla drivers are excited about over-the-air updates. This car is almost like an over-the-battery update.
Well, I mean, you definitely have to physically get the battery replaced, but NIO has battery swapping stations, which are kind of their answer to fast charging stations. They don't seem as convenient as, a supercharger in some respects and more convenient in others, as we've talked about before. But what an interesting thing. So you're going to sell the Premier version. It sounds like you could buy almost any of these cars and then just at whatever point just say, oh, I want a bigger battery. So you up your monthly amount, and now you have a car with a range of over 500 miles.
Yeah, we've talked about this before. It's nice because if you're going for a long trip that month, you just get the bigger battery for a month.
And the car could last a longer period of time because you don't have to keep worrying about, like, what is my battery doing? You just go like, I need a new battery.
But in the Premier Edition, you get 23 speakers and 1,000 watts of peak audio output.
So is that a lot?
Yeah, 1,000 watts.
I mean, that's a kilowatt.
I used to be a DJ,
Okay.
and I didn't bring 1,000 watts to play for weddings and dances.
Okay,
Like,
so it's
1,000 watts is a lot of power. Like,
And I mean-
1,000 watts can fill up a ballroom.
okay. And this is going to be in one car with 23 speakers.
Yeah, get ready to lose your hearing.
And that's a lot of output. I mean, I guess, again, they have the batteries for it, just like they have the batteries for all those.
That's a
chips and
kilowatt
stuff.
of power.
I know, it's-
So if you're driving around pumping the tunes, you're losing a kilowatt.
Yeah. I mean, it shows you how inefficient sound is.
Yeah.
Because, it's not like you could just open the rear window and all of a sudden, like, it's coming out the back and it's making you go faster, which if you put it into the motors, it kind of would.
Yeah. But also NIO announced their Q4 2020 sales numbers, and it was pretty impressive. 7,007 cars were delivered in December. That's a 121% year-over-year increase. In 2020, 43,728 vehicles were delivered in total. That's up 112% year-over-year. And cumulatively, deliveries of the ES8, ES6, and EC6 reached 75,641. So this one-year stock chart shows that NIO stock price has been on a tear for the past year. NIO has a market cap now of about $90 billion.
It's almost double Hyundai.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, that is...
And they make a whole lot less cars.
But,
We've seen that before with another company. I forget what it was.
Yeah. Tesla.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't think that that's too weird. I mean, if NIO is going to come up and kind of replace all of the traditional automakers, they're going to be in a space of their own. They're going to be there with Tesla, and especially in China, maybe BYD. I don't know who else.
Yeah.
So our buddy Kyle Connor from Out of Spec Motoring and Electric Performance Channel have a new electric Cannonball record in the Porsche Taycan, beating the existing Model 3 Cannonball record.
There's so much to talk about. We just had an interview with Kyle and Timon, and they told us everything about the whole Cannonball. So we're going to do that on Friday in the In-Depth. So stay tuned for that. All right, so GM has finally done something to show that it's serious about electric vehicles.
All right. It's good to have GM working on this for real. Let's hear it. What do they do?
This?
Is this a video?
No. This.
I don't see anything but a logo. Is this? Is there going to be like a car or something or a factory? What did they hire someone super smart? Did they stop making ice car? Why is it just a logo? What's going on?
No, that's it. It's a new logo.
Okay, and what else?
What else?
Uh-huh.
It's only the 5th time that GM has revised its logo since it was founded in 1908. This is serious stuff, Jesse. Deborah Wall, GM's chief marketing officer, says the new logo features the automaker's GM initials in lowercase letters with the M underlined as a nod to its Ultium battery cell platform that will underpin its new EVs. The blue letters are inside a rounded box of the same color. It replaces a white GM underlined with a darker blue block. What are you not seeing there? Can't you see how seriously GM is taking EVs now from this? Wall said, I truly believe we are at an inflection point for EVs. Today, we're creating a call to action, and we're showing how we plan to lead the future by inviting everybody in. We want to spark the mass EV adoption movement.
Okay. And they made a logo. They changed their
Okay, I see.
logo.
I see.
It doesn't have a battery on it.
No, I see.
It doesn't say EVs. They underlined the M to Ultium.
It
starts with a U.
Okay, I see. Maybe you missed it because you missed the new tagline.
Oh, okay. What's the new tagline?
The tagline is, okay, wait for it. This is so good.
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah.
Everybody in.
What? So who cares? What are you talking?
Wait, see the EV in the beginning? It's in the new blue color with the other letters in white.
Okay. How much did GM spend on this?
Well, Wall said the campaign will be very significant, but she declined to provide how much the automaker spent on the redesigned logo and the new messaging.
This is crazy. This is wacko stuff.
I don't know what you're not getting about this. I mean, Wall said, we're actually all in this together. And GM's future will be built on the people and the forward momentum of products, software, and services that make EVs accessible for everybody. This campaign will challenge stereotypes and represent all walks of life. I mean, do you see Malcolm Gladwell there, and the people and the skateboards and the Ultium batteries and the kids and the surfers and the it's great. GM says the electric future starts now. This new logo is going to spark a revolution, and I mean a revolution with an EV that's in blue.
Okay. No, it's not. They changed their logo, which they've already done, as you said, 4 other times.
Yeah, when's the last time they did it? Decades ago.
So
It's not a little thing, dude.
It doesn't make me think of EVs at all. It's just a blue. I mean, they didn't even change. It went from dark blue to light blue. I'm sorry. That was nothing. That was the biggest nothing I think I've ever heard. Like, yeah, anyone can change their logo. Tomorrow we could change our logo and make it blue. That wouldn't mean that we were making EVs. Like, that's not like, I don't even see, like, I got their tagline, like, everybody in, which is going to be missed by anyone looking at it, because they're going to be like, why is the E and the V
There
blue?
you go. There you go.
Uh-huh. They're gonna
notice.
And then they're gonna, you know what they're gonna do? They're gonna be like, that's weird. And then they go, anyway, the rest of my life has been normal, and we continue living it. What the? Yeah.
Everybody in.
I don't want to diss Wall or anything, but
Could you have come up with a better logo?
yeah, you could have incorporated a battery in it if that's what you really wanted, instead of underlining the M to represent Ultium, because it's Ultium. What the what? Okay, we have to move on, because that's the most wacko bull I've ever heard of.
All right, some more good news for Tesla in China. Tesla has sold out of the first quarter's worth of the Model Y in China after just a few days being on sale.
You remember last week that we reported on the new price drop for the made in China Model Y, which started at $52,000 for the long range and $56,600 for the performance model. Well, it appears that all they can produce in the first quarter has been sold, because now Tesla's Chinese website configurator shows the soonest you can now get your long range Model Y is Q2.
And check this out. The soonest you can get your performance version is not till Q3. Now, I thought that both models were pretty much the same. It's just a software change.
I mean, maybe you designate a certain number of performances per week.
Maybe they underpriced the performance model and they're realizing it now.
I think that it would be smart to get people in with the performance, then increase the price afterwards. Get people in. They're like, I have a performance Model Y. They're talking to the Superchargers. Yeah, the performance Model Y is awesome.
Oh, right. And then
you raise the price just a little bit, kind of up to what it is in the United States. And then people are like, well, I really do want a Model Y because I saw one blow past me in traffic or something like that.
There's been some wild rumors that they supposedly sold 100,000 Model Ys already. And the big question here is, what's their weekly production? And so we don't really know anything until we start seeing what the weekly production numbers are. It's going to be something as low as 1,000 to 2,000 a week, or it could be as high as 5,000 to 10,000 a week. We're just not going to know until, well, soon.
That's still pretty astounding, especially when we just talked about NIO's numbers.
Yeah. Tesla Time News is sponsored by Cybertruck Owners Club. There you'll find a crowdsourced reservation tracker that you can update and find your place in line.
Check out their website for Cybertruck news, discussions, and community for Cybertruck enthusiasts and future owners. And they have a 3D configurator allowing you to visualize the Cybertruck in any color, wrap, and logo, both on screen and in augmented reality. And talking about another electric pickup truck, Rivian put out this tweet saying, getting in a few last adventures before the new year. This was, well, before the new year. Sorry. But anyway, cool wraps on the Rivian.
Yeah. Star of the North said, gotta love El Cap. What do you call that design? Is it an option?
Rivian says, we agree. So we created a color for our vehicles to pay tribute to El Cap. This R1T is featured in a factory wrap that is not available quite yet, but keep an eye out for more ways to customize the R1T in the future.
So does this mean that Rivian is going to have factory wraps?
I guess it does. It doesn't mean right now, because they said that it wasn't ready yet.
Right.
But in the future, you could get, I guess, your Rivian wrapped at the factory.
Well, could we get Now You Know wrapped around our new Rivian R1T?
I don't know, because they said this is a factory wrap, so
certain
it was done at the factory, but like maybe the design is specific.
It's got to be like a Rivian design.
It's got to be on brand,
and it's got to be like, I'm heading out to Aspen. Do you have an Aspen wrap?
Yeah, it has to be named. Yeah, so if we discovered a mountain and named it Now You Know, maybe they would make it, but I don't think that you can discover mountains anymore.
Oh, why not?
They're pretty much all taken.
Damn.
At least on this planet. So you remember around this time last year, there was a big commotion about NHTSA investigating Tesla over sudden unintended acceleration.
Oh, yeah. That was big news.
Yeah, everyone was just like, whoa, Tesla's under investigation. Well, NHTSA was not investigating.
Weren't they, though?
No, because they just denied the petition to investigate it. You see, ODI, or the Office of Defects Investigations, after a year of reviewing all of the available data, some 246 complaints, ODI found in their review that not a single one of them were attributable to a defect.
So how did they determine that there was no defect in their investigation?
No, not an investigation, review. Okay, well, there were a lot of stuff that they reviewed. Okay, so let's take a look at them all here.
Okay.
So, you can see all the stuff that they reviewed.
Mm-hmm.
In fact,
they didn't investigate, they reviewed.
This was not an investigation. This was a review.
Okay.
They make that very clear.
So like a pre-investigation.
Yes. And this was all part of a 20-page report on their review.
So it's a review to see if you want to investigate.
Yes. But basically they reviewed all of the information, including this graph here, which you can see shows someone hitting the accelerator pedal during a sudden unintended acceleration event.
Right, which is what happens when you hit the accelerator.
Right, exactly.
So what you're saying is basically these people that claimed that they were accelerating unintendedly were just making a mistake.
Yes.
They hit the wrong pedal and then they blamed the car.
And in fact, NHTSA concluded, quote, after reviewing the available data, ODI has not identified evidence that would support opening a defect investigation into sudden unintended acceleration in the subject vehicles. The evidence shows that sudden unintended acceleration crashes in the complaints cited by the petitioner have been caused by pedal misapplication. There is no evidence of any fault in the accelerator pedal assemblies, motor control systems, or brake systems that has contributed to any of the cited incidents. There is also no evidence of a design factor contributing to the increased likelihood of pedal misapplication. And this is from their 20-page investigation. I'm sorry, their 20-page review.
This is a band I want to start called Pedal Misapplication. And it would be a bunch of guitar players with lots of pedals on stage, and they would just
sound really bad.
They would hit the wrong pedal all the time. But then they would blame their guitar techs later.
Right. You remember basically that this was raised by a non-Tesla driver who petitioned NHTSA, and after a year of reviewing,
good use of taxpayer dollars.
It's just frustrating.
But what's amazing is, unlike most cars, you can actually, there's the data right there, which pedal you hit.
There's a log. That's pretty impressive. Not too many cars have a black box like an airplane with video recordings of the accident.
The other day I was wearing some big snow boots and I got in the car to move the car for the plow, whatever, and I hit both pedals at the same time. Just tapped one. And a thing came up on the screen and it's like, you're hitting both pedals.
Right. Most cars won't do that.
No.
Most cars, you're going to either accelerate very quickly or you're going to hear your engine rev up and it's not good for your car. Teslas, of course, accelerate very quickly, but they do have a couple of safety features that actually do prevent you from slamming into stuff with unintended acceleration due to you hitting your foot on the pedal. There's a setting that you can set in your car which basically softens the pedal if it notices that you're close to something in front of your car.
We have a video about it where we showed whether it works or not. You can go check that out right here.
So anyway, after all of that hullabaloo, NHTSA did their
threw it out
review and they said, get out of here. It's a bunch of garbage, which it was to begin with. And we called it. We knew it. Pretty much everyone
Funny
knew
that
it.
the mass media doesn't make a big a deal about this. It doesn't say like Tesla vindicated.
Right. No. And they're just like, but it's still suspect. We should be well, you never know. Because they didn't do an investigation. They only reviewed.
Right.
It's like, oh, man. So Mercedes is taking a leaf from Tesla's book with a new feature they're adding for their car.
Oh, great. Full self-driving.
What? No, not that.
Dedicated supercharger network.
No, it's
An affordable price point.
No, it's a big screen. It's a big screen.
Oh, well, Tesla's got a screen, so how big is their screen?
56 inches.
You said inches.
56 inches, yeah.
Not centimeters?
56 inches.
That's huge. That wouldn't fit in the car. That's like the windscreen.
Well, okay, hang on. You measure a screen from corner to corner, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, what if it's 3 screens? You could measure
so
from
56 inches. 56 inches.
No,
you're not going to have room.
No. You measure from the top left corner of one screen to the bottom right corner of the last screen, and that's the 56 inches. So,
Can you show me what it looks like?
Sure. So here it is. It's called M-Bucks or Mercedes-Benz UX.
It sounds like Mercedes came up with their own Bitcoin.
Yeah, or like if Eminem had his own Bitcoin. And so the weird part to me about this is that Mercedes-Benz is very proud of this. They wanted to show everybody, but they didn't show it in a vehicle, which is kind of why it looks like some kind of weird keytar.
All right, so what car does this go in again?
This, the M-Bucks should be going in the Mercedes-Benz EQS, which should be delivered in 2022, even though it should have come out last year.
Now, can I spend my N-Bucks on anything or just on the screen?
It's not Bitcoin.
But Mercedes isn't the only one to announce a big screen. Cadillac, not to be outdone, has leaked that the Lyriq will be getting a 33-inch display. The Lyriq is slated to come out in 2023.
Now, the thing that none of these screens get right is the ability to watch stuff. It's nice in the Model 3 to have, it kind of looks a little weird to have like a rectangular screen in the Model 3 until you open Netflix. And then it's like, oh, great, full screen, sit back, watch the thing. With like this 33-inch screen, it's not your typical 33-inch monitor. It is 33 inches diagonally, but it doesn't define the aspect ratio. I mean, you could have 33 inches of one row of pixels. I mean, that doesn't mean it's a 33-inch screen. It's like, you're not going to be able to watch stuff in the same way.
I'm just picturing now, like, that just to outdo each other, that they just wrap the car with, like, one pixel.
It's infinity
like,
screen. It goes
4 miles.
It's infinity because it goes all the way around the car. Of course, it is just a string of LED lights, but it is quite impressive. I think you would agree.
I think Vinny would like that idea, actually.
Again, I think that you get more usable screen space out of the Model 3's 15-inch screen.
I think if you walked into GM's boardroom and you tried to explain to them watching Netflix in a car, you just get a lot of blank faces.
Like, I've never heard of Netflix.
So Li-Cycle is a Canadian-based lithium-ion battery recycling company, and it'll be building the largest lithium battery recycling plant in North America.
The $175 million plant will be built on the site of the Eastman Kodak complex in Rochester, New York, and will create 100 new jobs.
They'll start construction this year and will eventually have a capacity of 25,000 metric tons of input material, so old batteries, and they'll be able to recover 95% or more of cobalt, nickel, lithium, and other valuable materials through the company's zero emissions, zero wastewater process. Ajay Koshar, Li-Cycle's co-founder and CEO, says we'll be one of the largest domestic sources of nickel and lithium, as well as the only source of cobalt in the United States.
And that's really interesting because there are no mineral deposits of cobalt in the United States that we know of. But if you're recycling batteries, if you're bringing the raw materials to them and then they are able to refine it, then yeah, you kind of become a source of that material.
Now, a big part of this story is that the USMCA, which is the new US-Mexico-Canada agreement, requires that all North American auto industries use 75% locally produced content in their vehicles. And as Tim Johnston from Li-Cycle says, this North American recycling solution could be a game changer for the regional EV industry as it helps the environment by removing waste materials and also assists North American companies meet the USMCA's regulations, which, by the way, are taking effect in 2023.
That's just around the corner.
Yeah.
And I mean, we do some mental math here. You have exploding EV market. You have North America putting in these regulations, and you have this company sitting right at the epicenter to say, oh, you want United States-based materials? I mean, we take a bunch of batteries, get all the stuff that you need to make batteries out of the old batteries, and then you can take our new stuff and make batteries with it.
Yeah. And people probably pay to have you take the batteries.
Yeah, and I mean, again, this is a win-win because, we did have to get all of these batteries here in the first place. Why waste them? Why throw them away if you can recycle them and get pretty much everything back out of them? So according to Electrek, Tesla is looking to hire solar roofers in many new markets.
Now, we did some digging ourselves, and we found that indeed there are many job listings for solar roofers, lead solar roofers, and solar roof electricians in a bunch of markets across the U.S., including
Phoenix, South Tucson, Arizona, Hawthorne, California, Los Angeles, Parker, Colorado, Ontario, Marlborough, Massachusetts, Taunton, Massachusetts, Wilmington, Massachusetts, Bettsville, Maryland, Hunt Valley/Baltimore, Maryland, New Windsor, New York, Pine Brook, New Jersey, West Las Vegas, Nevada, Reno, Nevada, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, Pittsburgh, Dallas, Sugarland/Houston, Texas, and Draper, Utah.
Yeah, that's all across the U.S., including the 3 locations right here in Massachusetts, all looking to expand solar roofing. So that means, folks, it's coming.
Yeah, I'm very excited for probably a lot of our viewers who are hopefully going to be getting solar roofs on their houses.
Yeah, and what you've been watching right here is a 44 kilowatt roof that just went in.
44 kilowatts.
I have a 9 kilowatt roof. That's 5 times bigger.
That's insane.
So Tesla just updated their Supercharger map on their website to show upcoming Superchargers. So let's take a look.
Now, we hunted around and checked a bunch of different locations. And my bet is that if it says Q1 or Q2 2021, then it's a pretty safe bet that there are definite plans.
But if it says like Q4 or later, then it may not be such a sure bet. But let's take a look. Okay, so around Europe, far more routes are opening up. I mean, look at Finland. You can go like straight up now and whole new route. And Spain, looks like they're doubling the number. UK, France, Germany, all of them super impressive. Let's take a look here at the Middle East. They're getting more in Israel and in the UAE. I almost forgot about Canada. Take a look at this.
Yeah, it's exploding.
And then across the US, I mean, look at this. I really urge you to head over to your Supercharger map and just start clicking around and see what's coming soon.
We're really entering a new phase of Supercharger development. I mean, in the beginning, it was like, I can get to a whole new state. Gee whiz. But now we're entering this whole new dimension of charging where it's like, oh yeah, I just went down the street and supercharged. It's like, I didn't think that was ever going to be something that you could ever do unless you just happen to live next to a supercharger. The more supercharger density you have, the larger chance is that you're going to be happening across a supercharger. So in one of those days where you need to be moving a lot of people or a lot of stuff, the supercharger network is going to be able to come in handy for you.
Yeah. Now, when I was looking at Sweden, I was like, I'm looking here at Kiruna when we were up near the ice hotel and
looking a little sparse.
Well, it just looks weird. And then I was like, is this because of the Mercator effect?
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, actually, if you drag Sweden down to say Spain, you'll see that it's not as big as you think it is. So those distances that look so big on the map aren't actually so big.
Yeah. I love this website because you can take a country and move it around the map to see what size it would be depending on where you put it on the map.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I get the Mercator projection map. It's good for some things like
navigation,
straight line navigation.
Yeah.
But for the world to know things like that Greenland, it's not that size.
Yeah. It's still big. But
it's not that big.
It's not as big as Africa. Yeah.
And then there's things like Antarctica, which I thought was humongous. It is big. It's like the size of the United States, but it looks like it's infinity down there.
Right. And it's mostly ice.
All right, next up is an exclusive Now You Know Investor Club bonus story. So if you want to support us and join our Now You Know Investor Club, head on over to Patreon and join our Investor Club where you'll get exclusive stories like the one we're about to report on, along with monthly live streams where we interview founders, CEOs, and our Now You Know Investor Club Slack with over 1,000 members now and dozens of channels on every conceivable topic.
The Investor Club bonus stories.
All right, it's time for Going Green. So Montana is going to get their biggest wind farm this year as NextEra begins building the 750 megawatt Clearwater wind project next to this coal plant.
That's a big coal plant.
Yeah, it's the Colstrip coal plant. It's one of the U.S.'s largest pollution emitters. Ew. The good news is that, see those 4 smokestacks right there? Mm-hmm. Well, 2 of them are already shut down. Back in January of 2020, they shut down because coal was no longer economical enough to run. And then units 3 and 4 are going to be closed in the next 5 years. But there is a grid substation there. In order to replace the power to keep being able to bill customers, they need to find some more power generation to plug in there. So basically, there are going to be this wind farm along with 2 green projects to be built soon, the Pacific Corp's 250 megawatt Pryor Mountain wind farm and the Broadreach Power's 500 megawatt wind and solar project.
Wow, so we're talking about 1.5 gigawatts of energy generation going in to replace a former coal plant.
Yeah. All right, it's time for Into the Future.
Escape into the future.
This is so futuristic, Jesse. Check this out. Robotic blade repairers.
They fix like swords and stuff?
Let's rock.
No. To fix giant wind turbine blades.
Wait, what?
Okay, this is a UK-based startup. It's called Blade Bug, and they've developed a suction cup bug-like robot that is controlled by a rope technician that climbs out on these enormous 100-meter-long blades and inspects and even does some small repairs.
So it's basically a camera at the end of a little spider robot?
Yeah.
And how does this save anyone any money?
So normally when there's a problem with the wind generator, you have to wait till the kind of calm season. So that could take months. You got to send out a rope technician to climb up that thing, scale himself out there and be like, oh, yep, it's a Nick.
Oh, so you'd need to basically put someone in a little bit more danger. You're not just at the top of the wind turbine.
Right.
You're out on the blade of the wind turbine. Why can't they just use, regular old drones?
Well, where do you put wind turbines?
In big fields and wind.
It's windy.
Oh, right. I've flown my drone enough times.
Can you imagine being a rope technician out there? Even on a not so windy day?
Hey, I know.
Up hundreds of meters?
I mean, for all the people who wanted to be acrobats, pretty cool job.
Except don't they get nets?
Whatever.
All right, it's time for sunspots. So get this. In the country of Vietnam, they went from only having 378 megawatts of rooftop solar in 2019. Okay, well, guess how much it grew by in 2020?
Okay, well, you wouldn't tell me about this story unless it was pretty big. So let's say that they doubled it. So 378, let's say they're up to 750 megawatts.
It grew by over 100,000 systems to over 9.5 gigawatts of solar.
That's 25 time increase.
Yeah, it grew 2,435% from 2019 to 2020.
How? What made that happen?
Mainly, it's because the state-owned Vietnam Electricity Group allowed the systems installed by the end of the last year to earn between $70 and $93 per megawatt hour for the next 20 years. So basically, they said if you build a system, you'll lock in this rate for the next 20 years. So people are like, wait, what? Let's build something on the roof. And now Vietnam has overtaken Thailand to be Southeast Asia's largest capacity of solar production. And what's so cool about this story is you change a policy, you offer some people just a little bit of money, which is cheaper than what they're buying power for now, and people will just automatically do it. Like, oh, I'll put solar on my roof.
And I mean, yeah, you could wait for the market to do the same thing. You could wait for the price of solar to become even cheaper. Or you could just say, hey, there's a lot of benefit if we do it now.
And yes, it's a government-owned utility, but basically the utility said, how can we create a lot of power this year without doing anything? They basically just had everyone make a power plant for them.
Wow, that's pretty insane.
Now, if you want to get solar on your roof, the team at EnergyPal are energy experts that'll help you to figure out how to do it for less. And I just want to point out that everyone we've talked to who has worked with EnergyPal has had a wonderful experience and has been able to get all their questions answered for free.
So check out our link in the description below to talk to EnergyPal.
All right, it's time for video contributor stories. And someone's at the door.
Okay.
Oh, hey there, Zach and Jesse.
Mr. McFeely.
Mr. McFeely.
Hey.
Hi.
Wow, you got something for us?
Oh, yeah. Here you go. Be careful. Don't drop it now.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Mr. McFeely. What do we got? What do we got in here?
I don't know. What do we got?
Oh, we got a VHS tape.
Oh.
Can we put that in picture?
Yeah, let's do picture.
All right.
Hello, Zach, Jesse, and viewers. For many years, I've been dreaming about solar panels, and your show has encouraged me to take the leap. And after working out the numbers, it really does make a lot of sense. As an artist, I've always been inspired by Tesla, its simplicity, its beauty, its innovation. I used the contour of the car to create some new mug forms. I've been teaching and making pottery for over 20 years, and working with clay and other earth materials makes me very aware and concerned about the environment. It's time we get a handle on our priorities and put them into action. In my area, I went with All Energy Solar, and they turned out to be a fantastic group of people to work with. Everyone from the salesperson to the project coordinator, the installers, electricians were great. After I made my mugs, I decorate them with colored clays and slips. The electric kiln is then loaded and fired to 1900 degrees. After the first day, the crew had all the rails and electrical work done. After years of expensive electric bills, I symbolically free myself from the grid. When the fire is cool, I take the ash and sieve it to create a glaze by adding some other materials. Next, I apply a wax. You can apply the glaze without impacting the look of the design. We had over 4 inches of snow that evening. The crew got there early and shoveled off the roof, and then let the sun melt the rest away. By midday, they were able to set all the brackets and inverters and install all the panels. It took the crew about 30 minutes to set up the 32 panel, 11 kilowatt system. After the panels are set up, the electricians set up the system, while the crew then cleaned up all the edges and put the final touches on the panels. The kiln is reloaded and fired to 2100 degree Fahrenheit. At this temperature, everything in there is melting and looking good. After a day and a half, everything's cooled down and the work is ready to go. Thanks again to All Energy Solar. They did a fantastic job. My name is Randy Shute at randyshoot.com, and I believe that when your mind and your actions are aligned, you can do great things for one another and the world. Now you know. This is Tesla Time News, and thank you so much for watching.
What?
What else is in that box?
Is it what I think it is? Oh, check this
What?
out. Randy,
Oh my goodness.
these are beautiful. Look at that. It's got our logo.
And I mean, look at this one. It's the shape of a Model 3 or Model Y on top. These are gorgeous.
And this is the shape of the back of the car. These are beautiful.
These are really gorgeous.
Wow.
I think
We need to make these available to our viewers.
yes. So if you head over to ecoware.us, there is a limited supply of these mugs because Randy had only so much electrical bills that he could turn into glaze. Yeah, head over there and help support him. Also, you can head over to Randy's website. We'll put the link in the description below.
See what it says on the bottom?
This one says Tesla Time.
This one says Tesla Time News.
So
Check
cute.
that out. That's so awesome.
Thank you, Randy.
Wow. I mean, solar-powered mugs. Amazing.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowing. Thank you so much, Randy. These are beautiful.
Wow. We have such an awesome community of people.
Yeah.
All right, well, it's time now for Patreon bonus stories. For those of you who don't know, this is where we do basically a whole other show for our patrons. You can head over to patreon.com/nowyouknow, support us for as little as $1 a month, and get, on average, 4 Patreon bonus stories per month. So we'll see you over there.
It's a Patreon bonus story.
Got pumped up again from the
here we
Patreon
go.
bonus stories. All right, it's time for the Patreon shout-outs. These are people who support us for $5 or more a month. Who do we got, Jess?
We have Ari Pinsky,
William Stoley,
Florian Kronsteiner,
Kevin Dorfer,
Eric Tell,
Joe Ratter,
Mikkel A.,
Chassel's family,
Jose Torres,
Tony Manzel,
Islamuddin Noor,
Rod Sabick,
Brad White,
Miguel Tellez,
Anthony Bello,
Jeremy Clifton,
Daryl Park,
Gerald Wakefield.
and Tyler. Thank you so much for supporting us. We can't do this show without you.
All right, it's time for Elon's tweets of the week. And Gally said, "Yo, Elon, how hard did you sandbag the Plaid Model S timeline? I hope you don't put in the horizontal touchscreen and don't do a Steez exterior refresh. Otherwise, my FOMO will make me get it."
And Elon said,
What's he talking about?
I think it means
The
that-
sandbag part?
So, right, like, let's just think, right? They closed down the line
Yeah.
for Model S until today. And we're not actually here with you today. We recorded this last night, and the boys have been working very hard to get it to your eyeballs right now. Maybe the Plaid's going to come out.
Elon said, "Snow falling on Giga Berlin."
Look at that thing. He said building.
He said because of the large footprint, it may seem flat, but actually ranges up to 5 stories tall. Yeah, we know, Elon. We know it's a gigafactory. We know.
I think he was more chiding the flat earthers.
I see. And then Dale said side profile comparison showing the Crew Dragon and the space shuttle and so forth. And Elon said doesn't quite illustrate true size difference. Starship payload volume and mass are over 1,000% that of the shuttle.
So 10 times as big.
It sounds better as 1,000% though. I like that. And then Hacker News said WhatsApp updated its privacy policy in terms of service, making data sharing with Facebook mandatory for all. And Elon said,
"You don't say. Reminds me a lot of this timeless classic."
And Elon said, use Signal. And he's talking about a social media app, kind of like WhatsApp, but basically that has data encryption from end to end and doesn't share it with anybody. Viv said Twitter has around 5,000 employees, Facebook 45,000, and Reddit only has 400. That's an extremely tiny percentage of people having huge and mostly unprecedented power over the way we communicate, share things, and interact.
Elon said probably less than a few dozen primary decision makers. Technically, only 3.
And then Mars said, Elon, when's our first date? You've been teasing. Come over.
And Elon says, playing the long game, which he is.
Then Elon said, by the way, critical feedback is always super appreciated, as well as ways to donate money that really make a difference, way harder than it seems. So as we've been talking about, he's the richest man in the world, and he's asking us for, hey, where should I spend my money? Wow. World of Engineering says, what is Nikola Tesla famous for? Wrong answers only.
And Elon said his sick beats. And then he put Tesla the band, which is not Nikola Tesla.
Then World of Engineering said, is an electric rocket possible?
Elon said not to get to orbit, unfortunately. In space, photon emission powered by antimatter annihilation would rock, but that's a more long-term solution. Indirectly, an electric rocket is possible by using electricity to convert carbon dioxide and water into methane and oxygen. This will be needed on Mars even for early missions, and Earth too over time.
And then Pranay said, would it be possible to build a self-contained Sabatier plant inside of a starship so you don't need astronauts to set them up? So basically like a permanent gas station on Mars and have multiple landings for redundancy?
Elon said, yes, that would be the best way to do it. A large solar field or reactor is needed for power, and then some ice mining droids or long maneuvering drills are needed for the H2O, which means water. These are probably the trickier bits.
Yeah, I knew that was the best way to do it.
No, of course. Just landed the Sabatier, the thing. Absolutely.
And then Everyday Astronaut said, can we all just stop and admire for a second that SpaceX has a tiki bar that has MK1's flaps? I'm sorry, but that's the coolest thing ever. Fun to imagine that this place could be packed someday with people getting ready to go to Mars.
Elon said, that's actually our restaurant, but SpaceX is building a futuristic bar at the top of the high bay with 360-degree windows and a glass floor looking down on the rocket factory. You'd have to be pretty brave or pretty drunk in order to be in that bar. I hope that there's a section with an opaque floor, the ones that I'm used to.
Yeah, because that reminds me of you at the CN Tower. You do not like glass floors.
No.
Then Everyday Astronaut says, probably employees and guests only, right? I really think there should be a public space out here, too. It's too exciting for people not to see everything. A good way for the engaged public to feel involved. I know people who would love to run one. I'm sure you do, too.
Elon said, I super support public spaces around our production and launch sites, wherever it can be done safely and securely. When COVID passes, we will open up our restaurant to the public and figure out ways to allow limited access to the high bar.
I'm there when that happens.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
And I mean, this is going to be one spaceport, probably of many. I'm just thinking, like, we have the Space Needle. Let's get some more Space Needles. I mean, if you got actual space travel happening, well, you'd look stupid not having a Space Needle next to it.
All right, it's time for the Patreon poll, and you had a bunch of questions. I don't even think we're done getting the answers.
Yeah, so...
what was the poll again?
The poll was, what are your predictions for Tesla for 2021?
Okay.
And
what's number one so far?
And number one was...
And don't forget, these came from your suggestions.
Yes. Number one was Tesla will hit $1,000 a share. So
well,
200,
of course.
Yeah. The one that I thought should be number one was Elon becomes richest man in the world, because that already happened. So, I mean, that was a gimme. There was also a little test to see who was paying attention. Not everybody.
What's the one you least expected?
The one that I least expected.
It looks like, if you guys are right, that we're not getting the Roadster this year.
No, but a lot of people thought that they were entering the Indian market this year, which Elon said that he would do. So
yeah, it could be.
FSD full rollout, pretty exciting.
All right, I can't wait to see more data. I think they're right. I think our patrons are generally right.
Yes,
So-
except for when they didn't say that Elon would be the richest man in the world. They got that
A
wrong.
lot of them did.
You weren't
207.
paying any attention. All right, it's time for community mail time.
Community mail time.
Ryan's got his new Model Y. You look good in that, dude.
Nice.
Rick's got his new Model Y, and his son Kellen looks pretty pleased about it. Looks like a spaceship, doesn't it?
It really does, but don't let him fly it, okay?
No.
Or drive it.
Harrison's dog Hampton is watching the show and looks like she's really following what you're saying.
So cute. Michael's dogs Pinky and Lily, aka the Brain, are both watching. I mean, Pinky seems to be paying a lot of attention.
Yeah, but I don't know about the Brain.
Yeah.
And Katie's dog Olive is, well, she fell asleep.
Is she?
I think so.
Okay.
Maybe she just likes the sound of our voice. All right, it's time for Supercharger reviews, and these are sponsored by our friends at Evannex, the Tesla community's accessory store. So if you're looking for awesome accessories for your Tesla, check out Evannex and use our discount code NowYouKnow to save you $10 on purchases over $100.
Hello, Zach and Jesse. Chris here in Canmore, Alberta. They just opened up this brand new, I think it's an 8-pod supercharger in the kind of the downtown area of Canmore. Better amenities than the other site. We've got a BP here. We got a fantastic view of the mountains, obviously. Subway in Alberta, what is it? Alberta Wing Shack. May try that out one of these days. And that's about it. Certainly an 8 out of 10 in this location, I would say. It's right in ski country, so we're heading to the mountains here in 20 minutes or so for a day of skiing, and that's about it. Enjoy. Now you know.
Hey guys, this is 8 stall in Waldorf, Maryland, St. Charles County. We had a Wawa gas station. We got CVS. There's plenty of restaurants in this direction over here. There's kickboxing over here if you want to go over and take some kickboxing lessons while you're waiting for your car to charge. Thank you. Now you know.
Hi, Zach and Jesse. It's Joanne. This is my brand new or 6-month-old Model Y. We are here at the Laurel, Maryland Supercharger. There's 8 stalls here. We're the only ones here today on Christmas Day. This is a great little place. It's undercover, and there's all kinds of shopping on a normal day, so there's lots of places to eat. There's even a movie theater here. I would give it a 5 out of 10 because it's a little far off of 95, but very convenient and nice to be undercover. So now you know.
Hi, Zach and Jesse. Andre here from Quebec for a supercharger review. So I'm currently in Rivière du Loup, which roughly translates to Wolf River, and I'm at the 8-stall V2 supercharger. As you can see right now, it's very much empty. My car is the only one in the parking. And yeah, this supercharger is located in a hotel, which is Hotel Universal. And the only convenience around here is right beyond the hotel. There's a gas station with a convenience store. But beyond that, you have to walk for like 15 minutes to get to any kind of restaurant. So not very convenient, except for the fact that it's very close to the highway. So I would give this place about a 5 out of 10, just because there's not much to do around here. Thankfully we've got some entertainment in the car, but oh yeah, I could use the restroom too at the hotel, which was a good thing, even if I don't stay here. So that's it for today. Keep up the good work, and now you know. Thank you.
Hello everyone, this is a review of the Tepatitlán Supercharger, the first supercharger in the state of Jalisco. It is a 4-post, version 3, 250 kilowatt supercharger. It just opened today, and it's located within the Punta La Gloria shopping mall. This is the first time we charge. So this Tepatlan Supercharger serves to connect the route between Guadalajara and Mexico City through the Morelia route, and also Colima to Mexico City and Morelia. It's the third supercharger that's V3 in Mexico and the 18th supercharging location within Mexico as a whole. Currently, the network allows you to drive from Mexico City all the way to Texas. And once you're in the US, use the US network. And there are several dozen more supercharging locations planned for Mexico, according to Tesla's website. Punto La Gloria Shopping Center has several services, restaurants, and amenities you'd expect from a modern rest stop, such as restaurants, cafes, Office Depot, Petco, AT&T, and several other full restaurants and a full food court. I'd give it an 8 out of 10 just because it doesn't have 24/7 access. It's only daytime. Thanks, Jack and Jesse. This is Sal reporting for Tesla Owners Mexico from Guadalajara. Now you know.
Hey, Zach and Jesse. This is Kevin from Colorado at the intersection of Marshall Road and McCaslin Boulevard in downtown Superior, Colorado. This is the site of Tesla's newest store, service, and supercharger location in the state of Colorado. There are 16 superchargers as well as a few destination chargers at this location. Across the street is a Starbucks, a Element Hotel, and a few other small shops in the adjacent shopping center. This is a welcome addition to the state of Colorado, and for all of you coming through, now you know.
Yes! Supercharger reviews. Don't forget to upload your reviews over on our website, nowyouknowchannel.com/supercharger reviews. Easy to do, only takes a second. Awesome, and then you're up there.
And it's great for planning road trips too.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the new superchargers in the world.
All right, we got a few.
The 8-stall version 3 in Wells, Nevada.
The 12-stall 250 kilowatt in San Mateo at Hillsdale Boulevard in California.
The 16-stall version 3 in Nice, France.
You said it right. And number 2105 in the world, number 967 in the USA is the 8-stall 250 kilowatt in Rehoboth Beach, Delaware.
Not a lot this week, but there's going to be a lot this year. I'm so glad that we didn't do it, that we read all of them cumulatively, because otherwise the show would be long.
All right, it's time for the Patreon giveaway. Let's get that big basket of fun. To get your name in here, by the way, become a patron, and the more you support us, the more times we put your name in there. And this week we're gonna have a winner for the Falcon Evolution.
All right, and the winner is Crypto Cal. Congratulations. We are going to send you a signed poster. And hey, you've made it to the end of the show, and I wanna thank EcoWare for both styling us and making us look very pretty, and also for helping to support this channel and for carbon offsetting all of the shirts that they sell.
Don't forget, there's a few of these that you could go get.
Oh, it's probably too late.
It's probably too late.
If you didn't do this when you saw this, it's too late.
It might be.
Go check. I don't know.
Don't forget, we have a Now You Know Investor Club live stream next Saturday, January 16th at 2 p.m. Eastern. We have a lot to talk about, especially with the Apple Hyundai news that just came out. And we now have, Jesse, 1,100 members of the Slack channel, the Now You Know. Oh, did you get ink all over yourself?
We need a new marker.
Did it leak?
It's leaking. Oh, I got it.
Wow. Okay. That's bad.
Very bad. Good thing it's a glass.
Oh, you ruined it. Well, that's the end of this show. Oh, wow. Wow, that's the last poster we'll ever sign, huh? Quick before it dries. Quick. Water's not going to work. Oh, it worked.
Hey.
Wow. Solar panels are awesome.
Yeah, who would have thought?
Get stuff right up.
I'm turning gold. Oh my god.
Oh, you know, the other thing I want to talk about was, remember we did the live stream the other day, and one of our members who's on our investor club retired at the age of 56 because of Tesla stock.
Yeah. He was wearing a very interesting shirt.
Yeah.
Which he got on EcoWare.
Yeah, you can get your stock. I bought Tesla stock at shirt and show off to the world what you bought your Tesla stock at. He bought it really cheap.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
All right. Well, now you know.